Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode. Today, we're diving into the surprising effects of tea leaves on cannabis plants. From feeding soil to supporting microbial life and improving plant structure, you'll see how this humble kitchen scrap can become a powerful tool in your garden. Before we jump in, I want to give a big thank you to the Exhale Homegrown CO2 Company for sponsoring this episode. Exhale has been a trusted name in natural CO2 solutions for over 20 years. Their ready-to-use bags feature a patented strain of CO2-producing fungi that delivers a steady release for up to 6 months. No tanks, no timers, and no electricity, just clean, consistent CO2 powered by biology. If you're interested in Exhale's products, be sure to check the video description below for exclusive promo codes and some more information about their company. Also, make sure to stick around because later in this video we'll be sharing how you can enter for a chance to win a free Exhale CO2 bag. Also, please remember this is an educational video and all information provided is for educational purposes only. Now let's get into it. Picture this. Millions of people around the world brew a cup of tea every single day. They steep the leaves, savor the flavor and aroma, and then toss the bags straight into the trash. But what if I told you those discarded tea leaves might be one of the simplest, cheapest, and most underrated soil enhancers for cannabis cultivators? It might sound surprising, but those soggy little leaves pack quite a punch. So before you toss them aside, let's take a closer look at what's really inside used tea leaves and how they affect cannabis plants. Chapter 1. Choosing the right tea. Now, when we talk about making a choice, it's important to remember that not all tea leaves are created equal. There are many different types: green, black, oolong, white, herbal blends, and many, many more. But for today's deep dive, we're going to focus primarily on green and black tea. Now you may be asking yourself, why only focus on two? Well, because they're the most commonly consumed worldwide. And more importantly, they're the most nutrient-dense and biologically active when it comes to supporting plant health. Both green and black tea come from the Camellia sinensis plant. The key difference lies in how they're processed. Green tea is lightly oxidized, while black tea is fully oxidized. Oxidation is a natural process that happens when tea leaves are exposed to oxygen after harvest. Essentially, it changes the leaf's chemistry, like darkening the color, deepening the flavor, and transforming compounds like antioxidants and tannins. Green and black tea leaves are composed primarily of organic plant matter like cellulose, lignin, and polyphenolic compounds. This makes them highly biodegradable and ideal for use in a cannabis garden, especially when compared to many herbal or flavored teas that can contain additives or synthetic blends. Chapter 2. Nutrients in tea. One of the most important contributions when adding used tea leaves is nitrogen. Tea leaves contain residual nitrogen in both organic and inorganic forms, mostly as amino acids, proteins, and small amounts of ammonium. This is essential for photosynthesis and drives vigorous vegetative growth, including stem elongation and leaf development. Used tea leaves also contain a variety of micronutrients that support cannabis plant health on a cellular level. Let's take a moment to break them down. First up is manganese. This trace mineral is vital for enzyme activation, particularly those involved in photosynthesis, nitrogen metabolism, and the cannabis plant's defense against oxidative stress. Manganese also helps regulate lignin production, which strengthens cell walls and enhances the plant's ability to resist pests and disease. Then, we have potassium. Though found in modest amounts in tea leaves, potassium plays an outsized role in plant health. For example, it's essential for stomatol regulation, which is the process that controls how your cannabis plant breathes and releases water vapor, both of which are crucial for vigorous growth and flower development. Furthermore, potassium also helps transport carbohydrates from the leaves to the flowers, making it especially important during the bloom stage when energy demand is high. Next, let's talk about calcium. Often overlooked, calcium is critical for maintaining the structural integrity of plant cells. It works by stabilizing pectins in the middle lamella, which holds plant cells together. This process not only reduces the risk of issues like blossom end rot, but also helps the plant form strong new tissue in both shoots and roots, which is especially valuable in fast-growing strains. And finally, we have phosphorus. While tea leaves aren't loaded with phosphorus, what they do provide still plays a role in the plant's energy system. Phosphorus contributes to the formation of ATP, which is the molecular fuel for nearly every growth process. From early root expansion to flower development, even a small dose of phosphorus can support root signaling and help beneficial microbes establish a healthy rhizosphere, which is the soil surrounding the roots. Now that we've covered some background on today's topic, let's take a closer look at one of the most practical and reliable ways to introduce natural carbon dioxide into your grow: the Exhale Homegrown CO2 Bag. For over 20 years, Exhale has taken the science of fungal respiration and turned it into a clean, controlled, and highly effective solution for indoor gardening. Each bag is thoughtfully designed to meet the needs of real-world growers, from small home tents to fully sealed commercial rooms. It's a true plug-and-play system. Just hang the bag above your canopy and the fun guy inside get to work, producing a steady stream of CO2. This is possible because inside each bag is a proprietary substrate that serves as the fungi's food source, along with a patented, non-fruiting mycelium strain developed specifically for steady, reliable respiration. What really sets Exhale apart is that they were the first to bring the CO2 bag concept to market. While plenty of imitators have followed, none match Exhale's consistency or quality. That's why every product carries the original CO2 bag seal. So when you see that label, you know you're getting proven performance. And here's something special for our community. Exhale is giving one lucky viewer a chance to win a free Exhale CO2 bag. This model delivers a steady 1,300 ppm of CO2 for up to 6 months and is rated for grow spaces up to 4 by 4 feet, or 120 cubic feet. For full giveaway details, go to the video summary or visit our website. While you're there, check out our promo codes from Exhale. It's a great way to save if you're ready to give it a try. Now let's get back to today's topic. Chapter 3. How to use tea as fertilizer. There are several ways to use tea in your garden. Let's start with one of the most beneficial and beginner-friendly methods: composting. Adding used tea bags or loose tea leaves to your compost pile is one of the safest and most effective ways to recycle this nutrient-rich material. Tea leaves are considered a green compost input that's high in nitrogen and pairs well with brown materials like dried leaves, cardboard, or straw. This balance accelerates microbial activity and speeds up decomposition, resulting in a rich compost that enhances soil structure, water retention, and biological diversity. Now, if you're looking for a more hands-on experience, another way to apply tea leaves to your garden is through the process of top dressing. This refers to the process of applying dried used tea leaves around the base of your plants. As the leaves break down, they act as a slow-release fertilizer, feeding beneficial microbes in the soil while gradually dispensing nitrogen, potassium, and trace minerals. This method improves soil texture and microbial activity while minimizing waste. Just be sure not to over-apply. A thin, even layer is all you need to avoid compaction or mold. If you're already working with worms or have a vermicomposting system in place, tea leaves can be a perfect addition to your worm bin. Worms readily consume soft organic materials, ultimately breaking them down into a potent organic fertilizer rich in beneficial microbes, humic acids, and plant-available nutrients. And make sure to balance the input of tea with other materials like fruit peels, shredded paper, or dried plant matter to keep the worm bin environment healthy and productive. And finally, if you like brewing up something special for your plants, just like you do for yourself, tea leaves can be transformed into a gentle, nutrient-rich liquid fertilizer. One creative way to use your leftover tea leaves is by making a simple compost tea, which is a liquid fertilizer made by steeping organic materials in water to extract nutrients and beneficial compounds. Unlike traditional compost, which is solid and slow to break down, compost tea delivers those nutrients in a readily available, water-soluble form that plants can absorb quickly through their roots. Now, before you go tossing your whole stash of used tea bags into your grow space, let's hit the brakes for a moment and talk about some important things to consider. Chapter 4. Common mistakes growers make when using tea leaves. First off, not all tea is safe for soil. Flavored or scented teas might smell nice, but they often contain added oils, sugars, artificial flavors, or preservatives. And that's bad. These additives can disrupt the delicate balance in your root zone. So it's best to stick with plain teas like green, black, rooibos, or chamomile if you're going to repurpose them for your cannabis garden. You'll also want to pay attention to the type of tea bag that's being used. Many commercial brands use bags made with synthetic mesh or microplastics. These materials don't break down properly in the soil and can introduce unwanted particles into your growing medium. To avoid that, go with paper-based sachets, or better yet, just cut the bag open and use the loose leaves directly. Another big point, don't overdo it. Like any organic material, tea leaves are beneficial in moderation. But if you pile them on too thick or use them in waterlogged soil, they can quickly go anaerobic. This can lead to foul smells, a drop in soil pH, and even mold or fungus gnat issues. A thin, even layer is all you need, or better yet, compost them first to give the microbes time to process everything safely. And finally, always test before you trust. If you're trying tea leaves for the first time, use them on a plant that's not critical to the success of your garden. Observe how the soil responds, check your pH, and keep an eye on the plant's vigor and aroma. That way, you can dial in the method before going all in. In short, used tea leaves can absolutely be a helpful, sustainable input. But like anything, it's all about balance. And that's a wrap on today's episode. Whether you're dialing in your setup or just getting your hands in the soil for the first time, remember, this is a journey, and every small improvement adds up to bigger and better results. If you found this video helpful, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and make sure to drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your story and what techniques have worked best for you. Your insights help fuel this community and shape future videos. And if you want to dive even deeper, consider becoming a Cannabis Guy channel member. You'll unlock access to monthly giveaways, exclusive content, loyalty badges, member-only discount codes, and much, much more. It's a great way to support the channel, stay informed, and grow right alongside an amazing group of cultivators. Thanks for tuning in to this educational video. And as always, keep being awesome and stay curious, my friends.